real speakers, real coaches, real investors, real companies. No matter your destiny, all roads lead to Real Leaders Unite.
And welcome, everyone, to this episode of the Real Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Edwards. Alongside me today, folks, we've got the People Shark, the founder of FUBU, and of course, the legend, the living legend here today, the one and only, Mr. DJ Daymond John. Daymond, thanks for coming on the show today.
Living legend, man. You're doing that Obama thing.
Oh, I mean, it's not every day when someone gets off a stage and I can't get them to the media room because everyone wants to take a photo with them.
It's an honor, thank you. And I owed all of them money, that's why.
Okay, of course, I love it. Well, we just got off a panel.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about raising impact capital. You shared a couple quick memories on that stage today about your first kind of pitches when you were back in grade school. Have you always had the entrepreneur in your DNA?
I have always had it in my DNA, and I do think that in some sense, all of us have it in our DNA. I think that we are told by, others, that's not right, don't do it, you're never going to succeed, you're going to embarrass yourself, you're going to embarrass us. And we stop, but I think, think about our children. We all have either our children or somebody else's children. Their job is to hack you as a parent every day. That's their entire job. How can I get more candy? And I think at some points, stop doing that, but I think if you have loving people around or you have the good resources, you think entrepreneurially. And entrepreneurially can be in a big system too, but just thinking entrepreneurially.
I like that. You're talking about, we shouldn't do it. And I'm curious, when I think about motivation, I think about the actual word itself, motif, the reason for doing something.
Yeah.
What's your motivation?
I rethink my why often. I think that has been I think for whatever level of success or acknowledgement I have, I think is because I drill down to the hard truth every year or every quarter. Why am I doing this? So what is my motivation these days? My motivation these days are, I'm not leaving my children anything. I don't believe in doing that. I believe that you give them everything in the world, you make them the poorest people in the world. I can't get away from the fact that as my children grew up, they have a very privileged life. There's one, I couldn't give them adversity, but I can give them that later on in life saying, you're gonna earn this. They have no problem with it. So I want to leave, my motivation is to leave them though with a legacy. Leave them with, my father did this. So what are my reasons now? My reason now is longevity. We're at a point in our lives where science is growing so fast that I'm going to hopefully be able to live a healthy life up until 85, 90 years old, so I can see my little girls, I have all three girls, walk them all down the aisle and see my grandkids, be around enough to protect them and educate them. It's a very sad, disgusting fact that I'm the only African-American man on television that didn't come from music, sports, or politics for the last 15 years on a major network, and that there are millions of men and women smarter than me, that more deserving than me, of color, black, brown, whatever the case is, that deserve that stage. And if I can show everyday people that, I don't care who you are, race, color, creed, gender, you stand on that carpet doesn't give a shit about anything else. That just wants to know you're going to wake up before everybody and go to sleep after everybody. And if my dumb ass, who the only thing I did in school notable was I liked 7th grade so much I took it twice. If I can make it, anybody can make it. And you need to make sure that there are more people that look like me, that are smarter than me, that can be on that platform to help our other children. That's a legacy I want people to see.
Seems like you really rolled up your sleeve and just have attacked it. You've gone for it. I mean, I know a grinder when I speak to one. Maybe tell people listening to this a little bit about your daily regimen.
My what? My daily regimen? I'm going to be in 7 cities in the next 3 days, but if I can keep to a regimen, an everyday normal regimen would be, I wake up around 6 in the morning, I read my goals, 10 of them expire in, I read 10 goals every day, the same exact goals, 6 of them expire in 6 months. The other 4 expire in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years. I read them. It takes me about an hour to read my goals, focus on them, and give thanks to why I'm here. Give thanks to God and everybody else. And then I wake up and I'll do some kind of fitness activity for about an hour, whether it is walk, run, workout, push-ups, and then I start my calls. So I start my calls up until about 12. From 12 to 3, I probably do about Zooms. And my day is cut up in half an hour, lots. Steal time with my daughter, my wife, whatever the case may be. Then do TV and all kind of broadcasts and videos and various other things. Right around 6 o'clock, I started looking at some of my investments if I didn't already have that in some of the calls. Try to have my last meal about 6, 7 p.m. Work out again, spend time with my wife, then absorb some type of information, an audio book, read, whatever they can do, even looking online for various things. By the time I'm said and done and write all my notes and come up with, different things and download my notes before I go to bed and then do the goals again, read them right around 12 o'clock at night to 1. So I want them to be the last thing that I think about when I go to sleep. I don't want them either is reducing my weight or spending more time with my family, fixing my business. And then I wake back up around 6 o'clock. So I'll probably get about hopefully 5 hours, but maybe 4 hours, and sometimes stick in 8 hours. And if I happen to be someplace, I'm going to take a walk on the beach or do something like a tourist for 1 hour or 2 hours of the day and steal away that time that I'll never get back.
Well, what a common thread I'm noticing through all your answers is that the one thing that I think is also inspiring for me is that you clearly are also a family man. You've been mentioning your wife, your kids, and all of your answers. Many of the entrepreneurs in our community believe balance is a myth. Where do you stand on family-work balance? There's
Work-life harmony, there's no work-life balance. It is though, but the goals and the important part, I happen to be in a room with, there's somebody in this room who one day we were in Vegas, and I love telling the story how we're never that intentional. A lot of time we're not intentional about our family. We kind of are intentional about what plane, train, automobile to be in, or what Zoom call, whatever the case is, but it's almost like the gym will get to it. We never say, I'm going to have dinner with my wife. Now, we're going to watch 2 shows this week to catch up on, spend half an hour. We're going to have dancing lessons, whatever the case is. We do that. We'll get to it because that's the only people that we never get to. And I learned that already because I lost my first marriage because I was married to the business more than anything else. But I'm in a room with somebody we're in a room with somebody who I remember I forgot we were in Vegas. He said, I gotta get back to, and I'm gonna flub the story, but I gotta get back to San Diego because I gotta take my 2 daughters on a date. They're 1 year apart. And I said, why you gotta take them on a date separately? And he said, I do it every, 6 months or a year. I said, why? He said, because if I don't take my daughters on a date, they're 13 and 12. How are they ever gonna know how a man is supposed to treat them the first time they ever go on a date? And he was so intentional about it. Think about the kids these days, right? They don't pull the chair out. When I was growing up, you got to go up and ring the doorbell and knock on the door. You got to meet that person's father or mother. Now it's, hey, yo, I'm out here on the phone, boo. I'm in the car. What are you talking about? You're supposed to walk on the outside of the street. You're supposed to hold the door open. You're supposed to walk and sit in a restaurant with your back to the wall so you can see what's coming in. So many different things, right? But again, very intentional. So I know if it's 12 o'clock on a Saturday, if I don't have my tiara on, because it is tea time, Peppa Pig tea time with my little girl, it's going down. I'm going to see those tears, and you forget a negotiation. So I'm very intentional. And that's what work-life balance is. Steal away that half an hour to walk on the beach. Steal away that time to be with your wife or your husband. Steal away that time to spend that time. And so those things collect over the year, and you'll realize you stole 100, 200 different times away with those that you love.
Seems like you're very clear about the intention, of course. That's what you do daily, right? In the morning, in the evening. You kind of floated in there a little bit about the little generational difference. Yeah. You've been in the game for a long time, so much experience. What do you think is different, or maybe not so different, about this next generation of entrepreneurs?
Well, first of all, entrepreneurs, it's just like what our parents said about any one of our generations. Half of us are crazy and we're never going to grow up, and the other half are people who The ones I have faith in are the ones who realize that they're cleaning up the world that our generation destroyed. The ones that realize they're going to take over a government, not with a gun, but with, with a social media platform. Those are the ones I love. Now, I got good news and bad news about the others. Which one you want first?
Bad news.
The bad news is, as China teaches on TikTok all the kids how to become scientists, engineers, and a limited amount of information, the ones here, I think we're in a big country of a mixture of trolls and Care Bears. They all want to dance and sing, and they're so sensitive. That's the bad news. You want to know the good news?
Good news.
By the time China takes us over, aliens are going to come eat us all, so we won't be here.
Oh, well, that is good news.
There you go.
Don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Now, thinking about that, though, in all of this, Daymond.
I'm sorry, I didn't say anything too sensitive for you, did you?
No, you can say whatever you want on the show.
Just want to make sure you're okay.
No, absolutely.
I got to check these things.
No, man. Nothing here is off limits. Say whatever you want.
Make sure aliens don't go to my HR department. How dare you? We don't eat people.
It definitely is a possibility. Do you believe aliens are real?
Yeah, I sit next to one. It's called Kevin.
Okay. And just theoretically speaking, this alien, what makes him an alien? Is it just how he talks? How do you know he's an alien?
Well, because you probably still listen to 8 tracks.
Okay. So aliens are maybe a little bit more, they maybe blend in a little bit more. They want to be seen a little bit more casual, old school. Okay, interesting. Well, this has been an interesting interview, Daymond. I appreciate you enlightening us, not just on the present, but also the future.
We just stole away a moment, didn't we?
Didn't
we just steal some work-life balance? We had some good times.
We did. We have to. Always room for that here on the Real Leaders Podcast. Daymond, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Let me ask you something. So, at the end of the day, you had so many amazing people on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What have you found as because you're really, really good at finding the defining line of connectivity. Mm-hmm. What has been your defining line of connectivity you found in all the people you've interviewed?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, what the through line is that a leader such as yourself and others can connect with a bunch of different people in a bunch of different ways. And if enough people are connected, I think inherently you have a movement. And I think leaders are moving the movement.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, somebody one time said, hey, I'm a person who collects people, and they collect this energy of the positive energy of people. You can do it the negative way too, but I think that's true. I think that I can learn from any single person, every single person on the planet. They are of value, and we find a common way to get that energy and create that movement.
Now, what is that common way?
What is important to me, right? If I think people are willing to serve, I think that I find that they're willing to serve, well, they should be rewarded, because it's kind of that thing when you want to give so much to somebody, when you're somebody who takes that give and you go, man, how can I give back? When it comes from a genuine place, though.
Yes.
It has to come from someplace so genuine that you're like, it's almost like when I lend people, I don't lend them money. I don't want to affect our friendship. I think you deserve it. I think you really need it. Why should I be the person you can't go to? Take it, man. Hopefully it does well for you. If it doesn't, I've been blessed enough to have it. And then you know what happens? They become somebody who just values you for the rest of your life, and they're always there for you. So yeah, I think I love to find people that serve and from a genuine place.
It's like the definition of earn. You earn that, and you can only earn things by way of return, by giving it to somebody else and getting that back.
That is true. Have you ever been someplace where, I remember what was happening to me, and I know we had limited time. I remember I was going out with this billionaire kind of guy that I know, and every dinner, every place, he kept paying. I said, hey man, I'm not your child. I'm okay. I got a couple of bucks. I can afford to do. No. After a while, I refused to go out, and I said, this thing of me wanting to reciprocate and give, you're not allowing. Now I just feel horrible.
Yeah.
I think if you use it, you think about it the other way. Yeah, when you are of service, people want to fight for you. They want to serve. Mm-hmm. So I thank you for that insight.
And leaders, they're constantly getting sold, right? They're constantly feeling like they have to give something back. So I guess in all of this, to bring this home, what is your definition of not just a leader, but a real leader?
I think a real leader shows that they're human, that they're learning. I think if any parent is watching this, they know that as they raise their children, if their children would really reflect, daddy and mommy were learning too in life, and to be a little more understanding that as a real leader, you're human. I think a real leader is somebody who empowers the others around them, because the only way to scale and do anything else is to replicate yourself. And if you have great people with you, the good ones are always going to have places to go. So if you don't reward them in any sense, well, they're going to be poached, become your competition, or just leave you. Give and hand that power over to them, because then you all rise, right? I think that's one thing. And I think, I don't want to get all kumbaya and energy-wise, but there's something there that just blesses us, and real leaders try to do as much as they can because they know that they were blessed enough to be here, whether by mentors or whatever the case is. So it doesn't cost you much to say hello and smile at a person or make a call for a person. It doesn't cost you much, so just try to be a better person.
Love that. For Daymond John, I'm Kevin Edwards, asking you to go out there, be a better person, stay human, and always keep it real. Thanks, Daymond.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good work.
All roads lead to Real Leaders Unite.